Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tabletop Tokki here, and in today's video, we are celebrating the channel's 3-year anniversary, which is honestly just so mind-blowing and hard to process because when the channel started 3 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no anticipation or expectation for where things would go, thinking about the fact that we're here 3 years later, going strong. I've said it before and I will say it again, but that absolutely would not be possible without all of you. Thank you so much for all of your support, whether this is your first video or your 100th something. I've honestly lost track at this point. Thank you for every like, for every subscribe, for every comment, for everybody who's reached out on Instagram or Board Game Geek or now on Discord. Thank you to all of our amazing members who are supporting the channel, to our sponsor, Noble Knight, who is supporting the channel, and companies like Button Shy Games who continue to support the channel, who all just want to support and share a passion for board gaming that we all have and to be here and believe in what it is that we do here. It is insane. I can't even begin to express how humbling it feels and what an amazing privilege I know that it is to be able to be here 3 years later with y'all as part of this community. So thank you so much. And I thought, what better way to celebrate than to open things up and have a big old collaboration where we can all share our passion and love of board gaming together. And that's why I reached out to y'all about submitting your favorite games for this video. And I want to say a huge thanks to everybody who did submit a game, whether you made a video or wrote a script. I know that there is a lot of hard work and time and effort and thought that went into each and every submission. And I also know that on top of all of those things, it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there, especially in such a public format, and especially for those of us, myself included, who have a lot of anxiety about that. And that is not something that comes naturally. I really want to do more community-based videos in the future. So if you missed out this time around, please don't worry because there will be many opportunities for you in the future. I think that's everything. And I'm really excited to share all of these favorite games with you. So without further ado, let's get started.
First up, we have a favorite pick from Brian, Silver Fear, and that is Moonrakers. In Moonrakers, ship captains vie to become the most prestigious by completing contracts, upgrading their ships, and hiring crew. Players team up to complete contracts, negotiating rewards between each participant. They use their earned credits to hire crew, which are new cards in your deck, or to buy ship parts, which are installed to your player board and added as action cards to the deck. Crew, ship parts, and action cards increase your power, allowing you to complete contracts alone. And the first to 10 prestige is the winner. The reason why Brian enjoys this game is the negotiation aspect really gets every person at the table involved, even if it's not your turn. The feeling of having a powerful and synergistic deck is awesome when you can pull the exact cards you need to complete a contract and win. And the production of the game is top-notch. All of the components are amazing quality.
Hi everyone, it's Danielle from the Nature YouTube channel. I wanted to wish Tabletoptokki a happy 3-year anniversary. I've been watching your videos for a very long time. I guess it's been 3 years probably. And you know, I have always enjoyed the videos on this channel. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my favorite game very quickly. So I'm going to be talking about the Vainglorious Grotto. There's Campfire Delve Vainglorious Grotto. And it's primarily a card-driven game. It does have dice rolling as well. But you're going to be playing as a seeker. This is a solo cooperative kind of dungeon crawling game, and you're going down a well of cards, and these are the well cards, or a sample of them. There's not just 3. And then once you get to the bottom of the well, you get to face against a master, and basically you're choosing one of these 3 masters available randomly, and hopefully by the time you reach there you have enough skills to get you to get the 18 they call it progress in this game, and you track it with these numbered tokens to defeat or overcome the master. And yeah, this game has been an amazing solo experience for me. The art is very enjoyable. I mean, you can see this little cute creature here. Kind of looks like a bunny, which is kind of fitting for this video on Tabletop Tokki. But yeah, I really like this game. I recommend it if you're into you know, quick solo setup games, and obviously luck driven as well, which it checks all my boxes right there. All right, yeah, well, this is my favorite game right now. I wanted to repeat that, happy anniversary to Tabletop Tokki, and looking forward to many, many, many more years of board game goodness to come. All right, bye.
The Lord of the Rings Living Card Game Revised Edition is Blue Fox Meeple's pick for this list. The living card game set in the world of Tolkien's Middle-earth. Create your deck of heroes and allies to try to beat the story deck of evil events, orcs, trolls, Nazgul, and even more grim enemies. They love the world, the lore, the characters, the adventure, and the challenge. They say they love wandering around Middle-earth with hobbits, dwarves, Dunedain, and even elves. It's incredible that with just a few more cards, a different feel and pace can be created each time you start a new adventure. And when you lose, you try again, because not all those who wander are lost.
Hey everybody, my name is Duke, and my favorite game is Ark Nova. Despite it being a little bit heavier of a game, turns are pretty quick and to the point. I love the action selection where they move up and down on the track, and depending on where they're at, you get different benefits or different powers. I love how you can manipulate it with different tokens and try and move them around with different animals you play. Just the number of animal cards you have gives me so many options on what powers, what houses, what sponsors I'm going to have, what scoring I'm going to do at the end of the game. I never feel pigeonholed in the one strategy or I can't do something. And then when I don't have people to play with, also, the solo rules are only half a page long and absolutely phenomenal. I don't need to read another rulebook, or I don't need a degree in how to use a flowchart to figure out what I'm doing for my opponent's turns. I can get the game to the table and put it away without any stress, and I absolutely love it, and that is why Ark Nova is the greatest game ever and my favorite. Thanks!
Khiara's favorite game is Q4, a board game publishing simulator with a stack auction system. It's available as a PNP. Khiara really enjoys the theme where players take game contracts, investments, hire artists, and do a multitude of other tasks publishers are responsible for while trying to publish games on schedule. The worker placement and auction system are also very intuitive, making for an enjoyable experience overall. We have Wanker Tanker 2/5 pick Twa. In Twa, you hire sets of 1 to 3 dice, which are your workers, from all players' districts. You pay money to place the meeples on card activities, which gain you VP and abilities that can be done a number of times depending on the pip total of the dice you set. Figuring out what you can do with the dice rolled primarily in your district, but also of other players, is really fun. Also, the board art reminds them of a children's book, so there's pretty heavy nostalgia there.
My favorite game is Unmatched. The first thing that drew me in, as always, was the art and the components. They use really good card stock, pre-washed minis, and while they have a different artist for each set for different styles, the art direction is consistent throughout, with pictures that add a dynamic feel to the game. With card draw linked to movement, combat is a careful dance of offense and defense, so no just running to the center and beating each other up. I also really love the limited decks instead of dice for combat, because it means that each character has a bag of tricks that you generally know what they can do, but you're left guessing as to whether it's ready in hand. This means that players of different skills can face each other with almost equal footing. And the last thing that keeps me coming back to Unmatched is that it's so thematic. After nearly 50 characters released, they can still make each one feel just like they do in the stories. Whenever people ask for recommendations on which fighter to get, everyone says, just get the one you connect to, and you'll be happy playing with them. That's why Unmatched continues to be a 10 for me, and I'll get everything they release. You gotta try it.
That brings us to Adam's pick, Pente. Pente is an abstract strategy game for 2 or 4 players created by Gary Gabriel in 1977. It combines the simplicity of Gomoku, the flashy tactics of Nininku Rinju, and the profound strategy of Go. Players alternate placing a stone on the intersections of a 19 by 19 grid and compete to be the first to either form a row of 5 stones or capture 5 pairs of their opponent's stone. Thanks to its blend of simplicity and depth, Pente was the first abstract game that thoroughly captivated Adam during their childhood. While easy to grasp, it offered ample room for strategic development. Inspired by Pente, Adam decided to start their game collection as an adult, focusing primarily on abstract games. This initial focus eventually led him to expand the collection to include a diverse range of mechanics and themes, which he continues to learn more about every day.
Hey, my name is Chris, and one of my favorite games is Sea Salt and Paper. Sea Salt and Paper is a card drafting game with the push your luck element. And this is what makes this game stand out for me. Hands are never shown, so when you have at least 7 points, you can end the turn immediately and everyone scores. However, you can also bet it all for a bonus and let everyone have a final turn. If you have the highest score, you gain the bonus while your friends take a penalty. If you lose that bet, your friends score their points and you take a penalty. The game is really easy to teach, it's small so you can take it anywhere, and the art is gorgeous. I highly recommend this game, and if you're unsure, it is available in Board Game Arena to try.
Luke's favorite game is Reef, a game of growing beautiful coral arrangements. In Reef, you place colorful stackable coral pieces on your player board to make scoring patterns. You grow your reef by playing cards that have two parts, a top half with the new coral pieces you must place first, and a bottom half with a pattern you can score after. Careful timing and planning are necessary to score the most points without getting in your own way. The chunky, bright coral pieces make the act of physically building your reef as fun and satisfying as the decision making. It's a really quick and easy game to teach, and the pretty reefs make the game approachable for anyone. Decisions are interesting, but not agonizing. There's a lot of depth for returning players despite how simple the turns are. It's a perfect mix of playfulness and thinkiness.
Hey guys, I'm George, and I'm here to talk about one of my favorite games, Spirit Island, which I've chosen to show here in a museum, where it belongs. This game is one that I've had a lot of fun playing with a bunch of different friends over the years as it's come out with the new expansions, and I've stayed current and added new content. And at a high, very high level, the game's a cooperative game where you work as a group of island spirits, nature spirits, looking to defend your community and home against a tidal wave of invading colonialists. There's a bunch of different choices you have for spirits to play. They show one of them in the picture there. The game involves taking a bunch of power cards, some that you start with that are unique to your character, and some that you acquire over the course of the game through powering up and drawing from a deck, to use those powers on the land to destroy, move, displace, or otherwise scare the invading forces, to send them away from your homeland and protect the locals there from the blight that comes from the industrialism of these colonial empires that are invading. On top of a really fun theme that I've always enjoyed getting to interact with, this is a great blend of different mechanics where you are controlling an area on the board, but also planning ahead. The moves are very scripted in terms of what the enemies are going to do. So it's a co-op game that acts a lot more like a puzzle, something more like Through the Breach than something more random, where you're planning out your moves as a team, you're coordinating, your turns are all simultaneous, you're working together to accomplish a goal, and with a ton of different variety and ways to shape the game and difficulty to your experience level.
The Castles of Burgundy is Dana's pick for this list. In the Castles of Burgundy, you place different types of tiles into your duchy in order to score points and create combos. On your turn, you roll 2 dice and use the results to select tiles from a central board, place tiles from your storage onto your duchy, sell goods, buy tiles from a central depot, and gain workers. There are 5 rounds of only 5 turns each. It's crunchy enough that a win feels really good, and it's variable enough that with the different duchy layouts and variability of which tiles come out, it provides a lot of options, but it's also straightforward so that you can play at any time.
Hi everyone, today I'm presenting you my favorite game of all time. Nah, just kidding. I would say my favorite game would be Seasons. In Seasons, you have so many things I love in board games. You have a great universe, beautiful illustration, but the mechanic is awesome. And you have to increase your level at each playthrough to be better, and know how to combine the card to beat your opponents. And when you play with people who know the game, it's really awesome. I would recommend each time Seasons.
Thanks, Tokki. Gryff here. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about one of my most favorite games in celebration of 3 awesome years of your channel. And that game is Aeon's End. So I absolutely love challenging co-op adventure games, the kind that at any point can either crush the souls of everybody at the table or create, some memorable stories, like that one time when we almost died but didn't because someone did something incredibly heroic or incredibly stupid and we won on the last turn when we all thought we were going to lose. And that happens nearly every time I've played this game. It offers so many things I love: deck building, open drafting, huge variety of unique bosses, endless replayability, the unique magic programming mechanic, which is always fun, a variable turn orders, which can turn the game on its head at any moment, a real diverse cast of playable characters, and most of all, a publisher in indie boards and cards that continues to support the game even after 8 years, right? We've got small box expansions, big box expansions, and even a legacy game where the character that you build can actually be used for all of the other content. Overall, it's just an awesome game and one that'll always have a place in my collection.
Hi, I'm Tella. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my family's favorite board games. Hatsuden! Designed by a legendary designer, now Shimamoto.
I'm looking totally ripped. Beefcake! Beefcake!
It's a game about balance, push and pull, give and take, a yin yang, if you please.
In Hatsuden, 2 players are fighting for control over 5 different power sources. Both players have to power their 2 cities. Both players have to fight in a balanced attack for 5 power sources.
This is a fun hidden gem. This is my liking.
And now we have Andy's favorite pick, Calico, a beautiful abstract strategy tile placement puzzle game. During the game, you are collecting tiles to create the most beautiful quilt to attract cats. You do this by placing tiles onto your player board in specific color and pattern arrangements to collect buttons, cats, and to fulfill your specific goal tiles. These all score points that are added together at the end of the game, and the player with the most points wins. Andy loves this game not only because the theme is adorable, but because the puzzle is crunchy. You have a limited time to place tiles because you're filling in the rectangular player board, so the placement of each tile is important for future rounds in the game. Andy also loves the ability to play solo with different scenarios available in the back of the rulebook to keep the game feeling fresh and challenging.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my favorite game is Revive. It is a 2 to 4 player Euro that doesn't overstay its welcome on the table. It has great implementation of various mechanics like multi-use cards and a tech tree. And honestly, the biggest thing is that this game feels like every action you do is productive. You can switch strategies seamlessly without feeling like you lost any efficiency. There's great player interaction with how you time certain actions. And probably the biggest thing for me is that this has now become the game that I use to introduce people into chunkier, larger board games, just eclipsing It's a Wonderful World, which was my previous standard for that. Anyway, play Revive. It's amazing.
Nimaha Venka's favorite game is Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. The delightfully illustrated dungeon crawler is an easy-to-learn roll and write for 1 to 4 players. The game offers 4 unique maps in increasing difficulty with each realm. You can gain treasure as you battle monsters and annoyed animals, clumsy cultists, puzzle pyramids, and defiant dinosaurs, each with unique scoring conditions. Will your strategy and luck of the dice be enough to stay alive and emerge a hero?
Hello everyone, my name's Hanna, or if you're on Discord, you might know me as Khiara, and on YouTube I'm Malvina, and today I want to talk about my favorite game, that is Terraforming Mars. I like the game because it's an engine builder, and engine builders are one of my favorite mechanisms. I love the variability that you get in, for example, all these different stack of cards. We have a lot of different expansions in here as well. A lot of people complain about the artwork, but because, yeah, well, it's not really that artistic, but I like that it seems like a realistic style of game. I love that in engine builder you get to do more and more throughout the game, so you start slow and then get a lot better overall. I barely win this game, yeah. So, and I like that we have the variability of using different maps, and there is a lot of things we often actually play a co-op variant of this, and I like the variability and the engine building in this game, so that's why Terraforming Mars is my favorite game of all time.
Mark's favorite game is Ito, a social cooperative game from Japan. Each player is given a card with a number between 1 and 100, and while you can't show your number to other players, you can provide clues to give them an idea of how high or low your number is. These clues are used to rank the numbers sequentially from lowest to highest. If you get a sequence incorrect, you lose 1 of your 3 lives, and if you lose all 3, then the game is over. Mark loves the simplicity and its ability to get everyone involved and engaged. With other similar games like Wavelength, there's downtime when the other team is guessing, and you just want to check your phone or grab a coffee. It's similar to the Mind, but it's much more social and interactive. It's similar to Fun Facts and Just One to a lesser extent, but you don't need other components like markers. It's also a good way to learn more about other players in a fun, entertaining, and non-invasive way. While it's certainly not the best or most complex game out there, it provides something that many other games don't, and therefore is one of the best games in its niche. Small and compact and cheap, it's really quick to learn and the rules are minimal, it's a perfect short game to start or finish the evening, and has decent replayability, especially if you're playing with new players. Perhaps most importantly, it can be played literally anywhere. It's a perfect game for while you're on the road, and you don't even need a table, so you can play it on a bus, train, car, plane, etc. The perfect game to bring with you anywhere and play with anyone. Ito.
Tokki, congratulations on 3 years of success on YouTube. Today, I'd like to talk about my favorite game, which is Dungeon Lords by Tabletop. Dungeon Lords is a thematically rich and mechanically tight worker placement and dungeon building game set in a fantasy universe. In Dungeon Lords, what you're going to be doing is using these action selection cards and your mid-level managers over here to interact with this worker placement board. This worker placement board has 8 different options, and these 8 different options include getting food, printing propaganda, buying rooms from this slimy demonic real estate agent over here, building traps, and breeding imps, which will allow you to build out your player board here. Your player board is going to carry your dungeon design, the adventurers that you've attracted to your dungeon, the monsters that you've hired, and any other food or gold that you've accumulated during the course of the game. The game is going to last 2 years, and in these 2 years, which are tracked here on this calendar board, you're going to take 4 actions per year. At the end of the year, you're going to be facing the adventurers in combat. The adventurers are going to be tracked using this adventuring token here, and the adventurers are going to come into your dungeon, and you're going to use your monsters and any traps that you've had to fight them. If, unfortunately, you do lose a combat round, you are going to lose the room or the tunnel because it's been cleansed by the adventurers. I think this game is fantastic. It is filled with options and such important decision making. Every choice that you make in the game carries so much weight. And at the end, you've built a pretty cool dungeon that you've taken a lot of pride in. I love this game and I cannot recommend it enough.
Surwaya's pick for this list is parks. They say the best thing about board games are the memories and time we share while playing with family and friends. However, their mom's not a board gamer, and so many games they find are too much for her. Parks fits perfectly as a family game for them. It's a 1 to 5 player light resource management and tableau builder with action selection. Not to mention the approachable theme and stunning art. On your turn, you must move one of your 2 hikers forward on the trail and take the actions of that spot. You get to collect resources, buy gear, fill your canteen, take pictures, and visit national parks in order to earn points. The points in the game are the memories the hikers make on their journey. The player with the most memories wins. It's not a race though. You'll want to savor your time on the trail to get the most out of your hike. And once both hikers of all players make it to the end of the trail, the next season begins and a new trail is made. The game lasts only 4 seasons, so you have to plan your progress carefully and find the perfect place to set up camp. Waya's family has built many memories with this game, and they hope you do too.
So there you have it. Those are some of our community's favorite games. Thank you again to everybody who created a submission. Again, I know it takes a lot of hard work and I know it takes a lot of courage to do that. It just makes me so happy. And a little peek behind the curtain here, editing videos is my least favorite part of the process because it's just like my dumb face and my dumb voice the entire time going through. But this was one of the most fun videos to edit. I was smiling, beaming the entire time because it was so cool to be able to have y'all share. And again, thank you to everyone for showing your support for the channel over these past 3 years and your support for this community. It honestly means the world. It has been an amazing 3 years here on YouTube, and I am so glad and grateful for that time that we have the opportunity to proceed and to move forward together as a community and continue to explore and share a passion for games. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.